And today's section is going to be, very interesting because it's a rest thing like you're going to have. And I would like to, because anyway, like three sections, I think few people are attended last three sections. So again, like with those who are new to this, so I would like to, like invite Karguvel Tangamariappan. He's one of the, like a well-known figure in the Oracle Apex. And in the whole India, I think only few people got the Oracle Ace, and he's one of the Ace member of Oracle family. And we are, very much proud of you, like, like spending a time with our, young Apex developers. Okay, so we again, on behalf of Kerala chapter, I would like to, invite you to take the section. And over to you, Karkwel. You can start the section. I don't want to, like more talk 5 minutes. So at least that 5 minutes will be benefited to the youngsters. I will be very happy to that. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Matthew, for a warm welcome as usual. Okay. First, let me share my screen. The host has disabled the screen share.
It's a shared.
Yes. Okay, hope everybody is ready to join the session. Fine. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome, everyone. This is my fourth presentation to INA Kerala chapter. Yes, my name is Karkuvel Raja Tangamariappan. So I'm working as a lead engineer for a company called Tamak Properties Dubai. Yes, I am Oracle certified professional, and Oracle is having 7+ years of experience in developing Oracle Apex applications. Yes, we can get into the topic. So today's topic is a little bit interesting for everyone, and this is a new topic for the fresher as well as the experience. And the thing is, many people are not creating web services in Oracle Apex. They are preferring Java because of the security. So, and then Java web services available in the market more compared to Oracle Apex. So my aim is to you to create RESTful web services in Oracle Apex and exposing this to the third-party companies and exposing to the world. Okay. So today's topic is how we can effectively create RESTful web services in Oracle Apex. So the topic is defining, creating and using RESTful web services. Creating is a different part and using is different part. So each will take 1 hour to complete it. So today we are going to see how effectively we can create RESTful web services in Oracle Apex. And coming next session, we will be seeing how effectively consuming or using RESTful web services in Oracle Apex. Okay, let's get into the purpose of this topic. This session covers creating a RESTful web services and accessing the web service through on Oracle Apex application. And this covers consuming the web services using a REST client in the next session. Fine. So this will be let's see the overview of RESTful services. Okay, web services. What is web services, you can ask? See, web services enable applications to interact with one another. For example, if you have two systems, for example, one system is residing in the local and another system is in the remote. If you want to access remote system data, you must need web services to interact with the system. See, that's what we are defining. Web services is it's enable applications to interact with one another over the web in a platform neutral, language independent environment. See, over the web is nothing but HTTP service. Okay, in typical web services scenario, as a business application, for what it will do, we will be sending a request to a service at a given URL by using the protocol over HTTP. The service receive the request and it will process it and it will do the response. See, thing is simple. We have local database and we have remote database. We want to access remote database system. How we can access? We need to send a request from local database to the remote database. What that remote database will do? it will receive the request from the local database and will process it, and it will return a response in the form of JSON or CSV, or it could be anything like XML, and so many formats are there. Whatever the format you are preferring, that remote database system will give it to you. Okay, so you can ask, only REST services is available in the market? No, web services are typically based on two types. One is SOAP, that is older version, and now everybody is following REST architecture. Just nothing but representational state transfer. So we are fully focused into REST architecture. So REST web services are result oriented. Like it will be, for example, the response will be, sorry, request will be sent to the remote database, and the response will be coming back from the result data, remote database. That's what we are calling RESTful web services are result oriented. Okay, you can ask, what are the methods are available in the RESTful services architecture? Okay, the scope of the web services is found in the URI. URI is nothing but the template which we will be creating in the practical session. By that session, we will be understanding what is URI, what is template, what is handler. So many things are there. And the method of the service is described by the HTTP method that is used, such as get, post, put, and delete. See, if you are a Java developer, or if you are a web service developer, middleware engineer, you must understand what is get, what is post, what is put, and what is delete. These are all the syntax of, these are all the method of calling the web services. See, get is nothing but getting some data from the remote database. Post is nothing but you are posting something into the remote database, like inserting the record into the remote database. That's called post. Get means you are consuming some of the records from the remote database, that is get. And put is nothing but updating. Update means put. If you want to update some of the record in the remote database via web service, you can update it. That method is called put. We will not be telling that is update. In web service technical term, it's put. And delete means delete. It will be deleting the record in the remote database. We will be seeing clearly when we go for the when we get into the practical session. Fine. Okay. So you might think that what do you need to enable to achieve this RESTful services? Yes, simple. First, you need to have access to on your Oracle database. 11.11.2 or later version is must. Okay, and then you have to install Oracle Apex application, Oracle Apex 5.1 or later version into your Oracle database with RESTful service configured in the Oracle Apex. This is for only on-premises. And then, okay, first your Oracle database should be ready. And along with that, you need to have our Oracle Apex environment in your Oracle database. And then you need to create record database objects. See, we have seen, I have explained you what is database object. Is nothing but tables, sequence, triggers, and that. See, and then we need to populate some data into the database object. See, web services all about consuming and updating and inserting records into the database objects. Correct. So for that, we need database object. So these three steps are mandatory before creating any web services in Oracle Apex. First thing, you need to have Oracle database. And second thing, you need to have Oracle Apex, which needs to be installed into your Oracle database. And you need to create record database objects. Fine. Fine. And I would like to explain you how Apex is flexible to integrate with other software. See, this diagram clearly shows how effectively Oracle Apex applications can be integrated with the third-party application. See, first here web browsers are there, and we have Oracle database. As I told you earlier, we need to have Oracle database, and Oracle Apex should be installed within that Oracle Apex Oracle database. See, that's what here I mentioned, Oracle database with Oracle Application Express. See, this is local environment. See, local data source. Fine. See, we have web browser. Via web browser only, we will be calling our Apex application in the form of URL. What it will do, web browser, what it will do, web browser will be sending the request to the web listener. Web listener will be connecting to Oracle database, and Oracle database will read the web listener request, and it will be sending back to the response to the web listener, and web listener will be sending response back to the web browser. That's what the page is rendering. Oracle Apex page is rendering. Correct. So many of people knows this. See, first web browser, and we have local data source, Oracle database with Oracle application. Okay. In the local database, we have another one, enterprise data source, which means in the same local database, we have two different databases, two different local data sources. So this can be integrated, this can be achieved via database links. For example, we have one database, we have two different schemas. See, we can access, for example, we have A database, we have B database. In the local environment, if you want to access B database data from A database, you need to have DB links. So easily you can achieve. Okay, in our case is different. We need to connect with remote data source. See, that's what I mentioned here. It's like a world. See, world, we can anywhere, see, from anywhere we can connect the data. Connect the using web services, we can able to connect our Oracle Apex application. This must be integrated via web services. See, I think people can understand how I am presenting this, like how we can effectively integrate Oracle Apex with third-party tools using web services. See, here I mentioned the Apex engine, and hence the Apex application can be easily integrated with outside data source using web services and DB link. For example, the same local environment, if two different databases are there, you can go with DB link. If you want to access remote data sources, so you must go with web services. Okay, given that Apex resides within the Oracle DB, it can easily integrate with other Oracle database features. Apex application can also be extended using JavaScript and Ajax to provide a rich UI. So this is not related to that, but I mentioned why, because see, Oracle Apex application, if you want to enrich your UI, so you can use JavaScript and Ajax to enrich your UI. Fine. Hope you guys will understand how we can building integrated application using Oracle Apex. Okay, let's get into the business. Okay, creating a RESTful web service. Yes, Oracle Apex has given option to create a RESTful web services. You create a RESTful web services using RESTful services tool, which is in SQL Workshop. So people might know that where the SQL Workshop option is there. Okay, and then the RESTful web services wizard is a set of pages, there in the SQL Workshop that help you to create a new RESTful web services declaratively. Fine. The RESTful web services calls a specific SQL or PL/SQL, and maybe Apex collections. So many things are there, but here for presentation, I just mentioned only SQL statement. It could be different type. It could call SQL, it could call PL/SQL, and it could call collections, Apex collection. So from in your database. Okay, fine. You might ask how the REST URL will be. So see, for example, when we start learning, we need to understand how the URL is being structured. When we start learning Oracle Apex, you must understand how the Oracle Apex URL has been structured. So that is a good practice, I believe, good practice of understanding to. So I believe that. So that's what I brought this image here. So REST URL, and I have given some explanation about the URL. See, this will not change anywhere. So this is a common thing. See, http://example.com. See, that is server URL, which is nothing but apex.oracle.com or your Oracle Apex application server URL, and ORDS, that is ORDS alias. It could be ORDS or something else, that is ORDS alias. And my schema, for example, my schema is HR, means here HR. Okay, HR is there. If my schema is I'm saying Oracle expert, so here I could say schema alias will be Oracle expert. So this is module, and then this is URI template. HR will be the module. Inside the HR module, we will be creating the template, that is employees URI template, and bind variables. Why we are using bind variable? If you want to fetch, if you want to call the web services only for the particular record, for example, you have employee table, so you can fetch all the data, and if you want to consume your API should print only for the particular employee data, so you must have bind variable. See, this is the REST URL structured and explained each part. So first, server URL and RDS alias and schema alias and module followed by module. There's the URI template bind variable. This is the same way we are going to create a RESTful services. Why I am explaining you this is, if I am starting practical session first, you may not understand what it is. That's what I am explaining you before the practical session, which will really helpful you to understand when we go to the practical session. Fine. So here you could see what are the steps involved. So we are going to follow 5 simple steps to invoke REST services. So first, what we need to do is we need to enable the schema, and we need to define module, and we need to define template, and under the template we need to have handler. Under the handler, define the parameter. Defining the parameter is optional. If your API has parameters, you need to define, otherwise you can omit. Okay, let's see what enable schema is doing. See, enable schema will enables Oracle REST data service to access the named schema. Named schema is nothing but, as I told you, if my schema is Oracle expert, it will enable Oracle REST data services. See, we must enable Oracle REST data services to access the schema's object. That is the first step we need to do, and it has 5 parameters. So I think I don't want to explain you all the parameter. You people will understand. So be enabled and schema, URL mapping type, URL map pattern, and if authentication is required or not. So many things are there. And defining module defines the resource module. See, in which module we are going to create the REST services. If the module already exists, you need to be very careful before creating web services in Oracle API. If the module already exists, then the module and any existing template will be completely replaced. So otherwise, new module will be created. So before creating module, you need to be very careful that, see, when you are doing in the Oracle Apex screen, so it will be throwing the validation. When you are creating via PL SQL, we will be going to see in 2 different ways how we can achieve this in Oracle Apex UI and how we can achieve this in via PL SQL. So PL SQL will not throw error. So if the module is already exists, then the module and any existing templates under that module will be replaced with new definition. Otherwise, new module will be created. The same thing on define template also, it will define the resource template. If it is already exists, then existing handler, everything will be replaced. So otherwise, new template will be created. So handler also same thing. It defines a module handler. So if handler is already exists, then the handler and any existing handler will be replaced. Otherwise, new handler will be there. We will be seeing the importance of enabling the schema and defining the module, defining the template, and defining the handler. See, you should follow the same exact steps actually. So you cannot change the steps in between. First thing would be you need to create and you need to enable the schema. Once you enable the schema, you must create the module to create template. If you are not creating module, you cannot able to create the template. See, this is the algorithm. It's like we can say this is the algorithm, enable schema and defining the module. And then under the module, you can create template. And under the template, you could able to create many controllers. Each controller will have separate parameters. You will be seeing this now. Fine. So defining handler and defining parameter. Okay. Let's get into the practical session now. Okay, so let me log in my application. So are you able to see my screen, right? The screen?
Yeah, continue. You're able to see it.
Okay, bro. So clicking application builder, and you need to select application where you want to create the REST service. See, SQL workshop is there. So SQL workshop, there is an option called RESTful services. You need to click RESTful services. So once you click RESTful services, this page will be enabled. So fine. So reset sample services. Some sample services are there for your understanding. So if you want, you can, when you click, you can able to reset the sample services. Oracle Apex has given you to understand the basic Oracle Apex services, oracle.example.hr. Under this module, they have created many templates. So see, this will be the module, oracle.example.hr module. We will be creating new. So I'm just expanding you the existing concept. So module, this is the module, oracle.example.hr will be the module, and this will be the template, employee info. Under the template, they have created the handler, which is called the get method. So get will have SQL statement. Okay. So we are going to create new module now to achieve this. Okay. So I just pressed the module. I have some sample script to create it. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to create a module. See, first you need to click RESTful data service. See, once you click the RESTful data services, it will take you to this page, and then you need to click modules to create the module. So I just clicked a module. Here, see this red indicates that these are the record field. You must fill it. I am saying oracle.example.emp. So because we are going to deal with EMP table today, and base path. So I'm saying base path is EMP. See, we have seen, right? In the example, it was HR. So I am just saying base path is EMP. It should be published, and the pagination size it is nothing but, for example, how many record has to be printed in the single page. So I am just saying 25 based on your requirement. You can change it. If you want to give any command, you can give the command, but that is not mandatory. That is optional. Okay, and now I am creating the module. See, now module has been created. See the full URL now. Oracle Apex server URL along with my schema name. My schema name is famprop. See, workspace name is famprop, and this is base path. I explained you in I explained you here now. See, when we go, I go back. I am going back to the PPT. See, server URL over DS alias and schema alias followed by the base path. See here, base path is HR. See here base path is EMP. See, which we have given. Fine. Now we have created the module. Okay, what would be the next? So we need to create template. So I'm going to create the template. So URI template. I'm just saying EMP info. I'm just saying EMP info. So priority and all is not required. It could be 0, no problem. And secure hash method. We are enabling secure hash method. So I just created the template. See, if you see now the full URL has been changed. Why? Because this is the URL which we are going to call to pull out all the records. Okay. See, URL Oracle Apex server URL followed by schema, followed by base path and URI template. Okay. Now we are going to create the handler. So we have created module, we have created template. Why I am telling you again and again, as a fresher, it's very difficult to understand. That's what I'm each time when I'm creating any modules or any template, I am insisting you. Fine. So now I'm going to create the handler. So method here, I told you now, 4 methods are there. Get means consuming the values. Post means is like inserting the values into the database. Put means we are updating something into the database, and delete means delete. So now first example which we are going to see is get method. So source type. As I told you, source type could be anything: collection query from the item, PL SQL, media sources. So media sources is nothing but images. Images also you can print. So now I have selected query. So what will be the preferred format, JSON or CSV? Many people will not prefer CSV. For example, if you are building the report and when you click download button, that record has to be downloaded, then you can go with CSV. But when you expose this service to the third party, you must, this format must be JSON, because that is the world recognized language to read the data. Okay, fine. Once we set up the things, we need to come to the source. Okay, I am going to write a query, select star from EMP. Fine. This service will be fetching all the data from the EMP table. It doesn't have the, it will not have the parameters. So the parameter service we will be creating later. So now we are creating the service without any parameter. Now I am creating the handler. So the handler has been created. Fine. So, okay. If you see, get method is ready. Okay. How I can call this method? How we can call this URL? So there is copy to clipboard option is there. You need to copy the URL. The get method can be executed via web browser as well as the Postman. I don't think so many people aware Postman. So I will explain you what is Postman. See, this is get method. So it can be accessed via web browser. Okay. See, the data has been coming in the form of JSON. Fine. When you are invoking this from the web browser, there will not be any alignment in the JSON. It will be hectic to understand what data it is. So that's what I would like. I preferred you guys install Postman. Postman is nothing but you need to enter the URL and you need to click send option. So send is here to get the response. So if it is public URL, this service don't have any security. Like so that is a public URL. apex.oracle.com is public. So public URL web services can be called via here. See, you need to download Postman and you need to install, and you have to click on the home and you need to create some collection. That is a standard procedure. You can learn it from the internet, and you need to click plus to create the new service, call the new services. Okay, call the new request. See, here method will be there. Get, post, put, so many methods are there. So this method is get, right? This service is get service. So method is get. Okay, fine. So it doesn't have any parameters. It doesn't have any header. It doesn't have any authorization. Okay, now I am hitting the service. So it is sending the request. See the result now. When the status comes with 200, which means it is a success response. See now. So it's a pretty, you could able to read the JSON now. See now the data are coming in the JSON objects. Okay, now you might think that, okay, we are pulling out all the employee details. Okay, how we can pull only particular employee, pull the details of the particular employee. Okay, for that, what you need to do is we can go to the module and we can create another template. So I'm creating another template. So you are a template, I'm saying employees. Okay, employee / colon ID. That is a bind variable. You can say empid or you can say ID. So I'm saying URI template will be employee and followed by ID. So this will be the dynamic. So where we are going to pass the dynamic employee IDs. Fine. I have created the template. Now see the URL. So URL is different. See, this is point variable. Colon ID will be the point variable. Now we are going to create the handler. Okay, so I just click the handler. This is also a get method and query type. Select star from EMP. Okay, here we need to append this bind variable where EMP number equal to colon ID. Okay, before let me check what is the exact name of EMP number field. Select star from EMP. So it's EMP number. Okay, you just copy this and paste it here. So I just typed EMP underscore number, it's wrong. Okay, now I have created the controller. Now what you need to do, how you can execute. So this is same get method. It can be executed via web browser. So I just pasted. So this ID has to be replaced with the actual value. So employee ID 7900 is available. See, it is fetching only the particular employee number. But this service is fetching all the employee details. This service is fetching only the particular employee detail. When I'm invoking this request via Postman, you could easily understand the JSON. So I'm hitting the service now. See, the data has been populated here. If I am changing the employee number, the response will be changing. Let's see. We will be trying with different different employee numbers. Okay, I am going to take the employee ID of King 7839, going back to the Postman. So I am replacing 7900 with 7839, King's employee number. And I'm calling the service. See the response. Employee number 7839. So e-name King. So job is president. It's coming. Fine. You can add. So get method is so simple. And post, so insert, we will be seeing some put. Put means it has to update the value. For example, 7839. If I want to update all the attributes, so how we can do that? We'll see. This concept is entirely different from the get method. Okay, fine. How we can achieve this? So now we have created two services. One is to fetch all the employee details. Another one is to fetch the particular given employee information. Okay, along with this, I'm going to create one more handler which will be method put, because we are going to update. Put means by default source type will be PL SQL, because PL SQL will help us to update the details, right? So this is a PL SQL I have written. Sorry. So you need to see, you can write update command, whatever you want. Based on your requirement, you can write. So I just written like this. And it has three parameters. One is status, and another one is location, and another one is ID. ID is nothing but employee ID. Status is nothing but, why I am saying 200 is, as I told you, when you are hitting Postman, if it is giving 200 means success response. So that's what I just put status 200 if it is success. Otherwise 400. 400 will be error. And here I am just printing the error message using HTF escape API. Fine. And the location will be the same employee ID. The success message will be printed based on this employee ID. So here I have written update EMP set ename equal to colon ename. So you can ask question how this value will be replaced. So you need to construct the JSON body with this ename. This will be the attributes of the JSON. So it should be the attribute in the JSON body. I will tell you how you can prepare the JSON body. So ename, job, hire date, manager, salary, commission, department number. This all has to be there in the JSON body. We will be seeing how we can append it. First, let us create the handler. As I told you, here we have three parameters. there is an option to create the parameters. Okay. So how we can create the parameter? So you need to click add to create the parameter. I am saying ID. This is to identify bind variable. Here we have given ID, right? This value should be copied and pasted here. This is to this is for our identification. Fine. And access method, that is a in parameter, right? Source type, as I told you, this is HTTP header. Data type, it could be string or employee ID. Probably it should be integer. So one you can put string or integer. Okay. You just think about it. Here, why they are calling a string instead of see, that is PL SQL, right? They can call it as varchar, right? Why they are calling it as integer? They can call it as number, right? Double. What is double? Boolean in PL SQL, Boolean. Okay, fine. Why they are calling means web services is based on Java. Java, there is no varchar means string. Number means integer. Long means long integer. Double means it's like followed by number. Number followed after digit, 2 digit will be there. After the dot, after the pointer, 2 digit will be there. That is double. So this is based on Java varchar, Java data types. So that's what they called this a string, integer, long, double. So if it is PL SQL, they will be calling this as varchar number. So you need to understand why they have called like this. Fine. So, and another thing is status we need to keep. So I am bind variable status. I am just saying X apex status code. So X means out parameter. So I'm just saying this is out parameter, right? This will be printing out as a response, like whether it has success, whether it is success or failure. So it's number, it's integer. As per Java term, it's integer. And one more thing is location. So you need to create one more bind variable location. So this I am saying apex forward. It could be anything. You can change the bind variable name as per your convenience. So this will be output parameter. Source type will be HTTP. This will be string. Okay, fine. Now I'm just creating the controller. So now the controller has been created. So when you click the put method, when you expand this, you could able to see the parameters. What are the parameters which is there? Okay. Now you can think how you can consume this, execute this. This cannot be executed via web browser. Why? Get can be executed via web browser, but this cannot be executed via web browser. Why? Means we need to construct JSON body which we cannot feed from the web browser. So for that we must have JSON. We must have Postman to execute this. Okay, fine. So I'm opening new I'm going to call new request. Okay, fine. I just pasted this URL. I just copied. I just pasted this. Okay. 7839. Fine. So 7839 get method is, this is get method. So that's what it is pulling the request. I am going to update this information completely. Okay. For that, what you need to do is we need to construct the JSON body. This is a JSON body I have constructed. Okay. So where you can paste the JSON body. So this is the body. You need to select the type raw and you need to change the type JSON, paste it here. Okay, I'm just saying enum Mathew CTO. So employee number 0001. So he doesn't have manager. I'm just saying 0. So hire it is this, salary is this. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to update the king data with this value. Okay. Before executing the service, we can go back to SQL workshop and we can see that particular record. So EMP where EMP number equal to this. See, EMP number is 7839. ename king. Actually, employee number should not be changed. I will change the program. So job is president, manager. Hire date is now it is showing 11/7/1981. Salary is 5,000. We will be changing to 10,000 in the parameter. Fine. So, okay, fine. So hire date, salary is there. Now let's hit the service. Employee ID should not be changed. Okay, fine. So I'm going to call the service now. So I just called the service. But the result is giving the same. Why? Because we have not changed the method. It's get only. We need to change it to put, right? Then only it will be invoking the update service. Now I am just clicking send. Sorry. I think because of this. See, it is showing integrity constraint because this employee number is already there. So I am just giving to another employee number. Some integrity constraint.
I think that you have not mentioned the employee number in that put statement and the update statement.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me check.
It's not required also, right? So you can remove that from that payload.
Yes, employee number I should not append.
Yeah, you can just remove that from the payload. Yeah.
Payload, correct. So I think something is missing. Why it is showing 400 bad request? Integrity constraint violated. 1 second.
Manager 0, it should be null or some value.
Let's try with null. Yes, correct. You are right. Yes. See, now employee number 7839, ename Mathew, job CTO, it has been updated now. Okay. When I go back to this SQL workshop, now I am executing this. See, the value has been changed from King to Mathew, job CTO. So hire date, salary, commission, everything has been changed. Okay. This is the way of creating put. So delete also you can do. Well, how you can do is, so the method has to be changed, should be changed from put to delete, and here you need to write delete service. Sorry, delete SQL, PL SQL or SQL statement based on your logic. Okay, so hope you will understand how this can be done via PLC Oracle Apex UI. Okay, now I am going to delete complete thing. So I am going to delete this particular module, and we will be seeing how this can be done via PL/SQL. See, as a Oracle Apex developer, we must understand how this thing can be done in the different way. Correct. See, before this option was there were a PL/SQL API called ORDS. So that has many functions and that has many procedure to create the API. So these are coming in the latest version. Okay, now I am going to delete this particular module. So I have deleted the module. We will be creating this via PL/SQL now. So now the module is gone. When you are trying to execute the same service, it will give you the error. See, because that service, it will give the bad request error. It's in the form of HTML. It will be giving you the bad request, bad service error because that service itself doesn't exist. Okay, we'll see how this can be done in PL/SQL. Fine. See, I have prepared the query. Okay, as I told you, first step would be we need to enable the schema. See, that's what I have constructed this PL/SQL like this. ORDS.enable schema. So we are just enable to equal to true, and we need to give what is the schema. So I just give my schema name and URL mapping. That is while it could be base underscore path or base underscore URL, and the URL mapping pattern will be FAM properties. That is nothing but the schema name. And authentication, we don't have any authentication for the time being. That's what I'm saying, false. If we have any authentication, it must be true, and you have to enable the privileges. And then we need to define the module. Module is nothing but we have created the module now, oracle.example.emp. See, this can be created via this procedure, this API. So module name will be oracle.example.emp and base path. What we have given /emp/ items per page 25. And based on this, based on your requirement, you can change it. Status is published because that published is enabled. It was enabled right there in the screen. So you need to give published. If it is non-published, if you don't want it published, you can change it to non-published. Comments null. If you want, you can give the comment. Okay. Now we have enabled the schema. We have defined the module, and after that, what will be the step? We need to define the template. See, same module, correct? Module will not be changing. Same module, pattern will be this. Under the module, we are going to create the template. See, pattern emp info. It doesn't have any parameter which will pull out all the employee informations. Okay, fine. So, and priority and e tag. So e tag query. These are the parameters are there. Fine. So, and then define a handler. This is the main part. Defining the handler. Same module. And what is the pattern? So this is the template. Template pattern we need to give employee info / and what will be the method? Get method we have done, right? So source type we have selected JSON, and we can select CSV also, but many people will not prefer CSV. When we expose this API to the other person, so it must be JSON. So items per page, just nothing but the pagination 25. So mimes allowed. If you want to restrict only that JSON, then you can give mimes allowed. So comment is null, and this is the important part, source. So what query we have given? Select star from EMP. Fine. So only this we are going to execute now. I just copied this. Sorry. I just copied from this to this. I'm going back to, as I told you, best practice would be you need to go to SQL script. So I'm just creating the script here, just pasted. So you need to commit this and you need to end this PLC code. I'm just saying some sample REST API. Sample REST API 1. So I'm just creating. So it is being created. Sample REST API 1 is being created. Now I have to run this. So I'm running now. See, it has got executed. Statement is processed. So successful. Fine. Now we can go back to REST services. All what you need to do is you need to click RDS RESTful services. See, oracle.example.emp. Before it was deleted, right? We have deleted. Now we have created the service via PLC call. See the module oracle.example.emp. See the template emp info. Under this, we have created the handler get. See, this is the source code. So now I can able to hit the service. So get method, it will fetch the employee informations. Okay. See, in the same thing it is doing actually. So defining the template. This is for parameterized web services. So we need to create the handler, and we need to define the handler. We have created two handler in this parameterized web services. One is to pull out the particular employee details, and another one is to put, which is nothing but updating the employee information. And we have created 3 parameters. So that's what we have defined the parameters here. If you see method, put, and what is the name, and what is the point variable name, source type. So everything what you have seen in the screen, you have to give us the input parameter. So here we have created 3 parameters. Okay. Now let's run this. RDS is already enabled. So now you need to go back to SQL scripts. So I am clicking create. I just pasted this code. I am saying sample REST API 2. So I'm just creating it. So it's created. I'm going to run this now. So it is being run. It's been completed. So all what you need to do is you have to go back to the resource. Sorry, you need to go back to the ORDS RESTful services UI. There you could see employee slash bind variable ID. That parameterized service has been created. There in the template, two handler will be there. One is get is there, one is get, and another one is put. This put has 3 parameters. So all parameter is there. Now, before when we run, it was giving error. See, now when I'm running, it will be changed. It will be giving the response. Sorry. Second. Just copied this. 787900. Just changing it. See, it is changed. Raja. If I'm giving some other name like Arun, I'm going to give. The employee name has been changed to Arun. This is the way you can create web services in Oracle Apex using Oracle Apex REST services UI or using PL SQL. So hope you guys understand what is Oracle, how we can effectively create RESTful services in Oracle Apex. This is the references I have created, I have referred. So I have to create. I must give credit to these 2 blocks, Oracle blocks. Fine. Okay. If you have a great idea or comment, you can post it in the chat. So this is my email and Twitter, WhatsApp. If you have any ideas, you can contact me at any times regarding Oracle Apex. And this is my blog. So I have created more than 100 blogs in Oracle Apex. So you can make use of it when it comes to your requirement. Fine. And then communication. This is my communication channels and Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm very much active in social media, LinkedIn as well as Twitter. So you can contact via Twitter, LinkedIn. Okay. Now question session. If you have any question, you can shoot to me. I am very much interested in helping answering.
Kargwel, can you just stop the sharing so that I can call up the name and they can ask directly to you?
Yes.
Sham, I think Sham is asking, what happened if I will provide a wrong EMP ID? That means instead of 739, if that employee number is not existing in the database, if he puts some wrong employee number, what will be the effect? Whether we need to customize some error and show that employee not found, or maybe what is the issue? I think Sham, if you want it, you can switch on your microphone and ask directly. If I'm wrong.
Yes, exactly. You understand my query. If I will give wrong ID, then how I will display you are entering the wrong employee.
All right. Okay.
See, I just clearly explained you. I think hope you can see my screen. See, in this PL SQL part,
Yes.
I have handled the exceptions. Correct. I just handled when others. If there is no data found, for example, if employee ID is not there, it must give no data found error, right? So this exception will be capturing, and via Postman, it will be printing you the response code 400. As I told you, 400 means error. If this is success, it will be giving you the 200. So in your PL SQL code, you have to check the status of the particular response. If it is 200, then it's good to go to the next step. If it is giving 400, and you can handle so many exceptions here, like too many rows and what is so many invalid some invalid number, so many things are there. You can handle the whatever based on your requirement. You can handle exception. So each exception you can give some different number. If 200 is there, then you can proceed. Otherwise, this will be giving you the error.
Okay. In the same way, we can handle the delete options also.
Yes, yes. When you are writing PL SQL, you must handle the exception. That is a best practice. That's what I handled here. I don't have time. That's what I just handled when others. This is not the right way of handling the exception. You must put like if too many rows can be created. So you need to have too many rows, invalid number. So there must be some way to handle how effectively we can handle the exception. You need to follow this way. I'm recommending you don't follow this way like exception when others. It will capture everything, but you will not learn many things, I would say.
Thank you.
I think the second question is asked by Vishak. What are the alternative of Postman applications? How handle large amount of data in JSON format without Postman application?
See, as I told you, get method you can consume via web browser. So you need to go to Postman to get the quick data. Otherwise, what you need to do is there is PL SQL API. You need to sit and write. That will take for at least you to two days to understand how this is being executed. Our Oracle Apex has given the API called Apex underscore web services, web underscore services, that you can create the request, you can consume the request. For that, you need to understand the API first. So in that way, you can call the web services, but it will consume a lot of time. For example, you need to set the header. For this API is simple because it doesn't have the more parameter, it doesn't have the authorization, it doesn't have the header is very small. Header is nothing but the payload is very small. When you come to the business, when you come to the real world, the payload could be anything actually. That JSON has like 100 attributes will be there in the payload. So you cannot construct the payload, and you cannot go with the Oracle Apex web services call method to consume or execute this web services. So I strongly recommend you to use Postman to get the quick result. See, all you need to do is you need to copy and paste. See, I'm sharing my screen. You can see the Postman benefits actually. See here, params option there. You can create the parameters and you can assign the values. Here, authorization option is there. You can select the authorization. See, so many authorizations are there. We cannot think that third party. See, third party could build the web services. They can use the authorization. They can use any of authorization method like API key, bearer token. For each authorization method, you need to change the PL SQL API code or Apex API code to consume their API. That is possible, but it will consume your time. And header, if you want to set the header, when it comes to the real value, you need to set many headers. Like for example, you need to only allow JSON means you need to set the MIME type application / JSON. If you want to allow only media type as JPEG, and you need to set the header for that separately. And payload, if you want to set up the payload, as I told you, when it comes to the real world, payload attribute will be more. So many constraints are there. You can use PL SQL API or Apex API if you have a time. That is the alternative way. I can tell you that, but I strongly recommend you to understand how the Postman is working. When it comes to post or put or delete method, it can be executed via Postman. It cannot be executed via web browser.
Thank you. In order to continuation of that, in case if Vishak is asking that, is there an alternative for Postman? Yes, we have curl and also we have Insomnia that are command line tools. Okay.
And the Postman is free software. You don't need to physically install on your computer. You can have a web edition. Just put a username or maybe Google with log with a Gmail account. You will be able to do everything. That it's a free software, and it is why he is insisting that, because before you submit anything to your client, customer or anything, you make sure that your API, your REST is working properly. Otherwise, it raises an error, then it is a bad impact for you. That is the main reason. Before you do any exercises, you can do a Postman checkup and get the result. Everything is okay. Then you can 100% confirm that your REST is sending request and getting and updating it. This is basically like Postman is it's a very good GUI based software to test this REST services. Okay, so we are a Oracle Apex, but certain utility which we were want to recommend it to avoid errors and like to work everything properly. Okay. All right, thank you. And if anybody has any doubt, you can switch on your microphone and ask directly to Karkuel. This is like utilize your time and ask the questions and get the clarity from him. Okay.
See, why I am strongly recommending Postman is I have worked with many clients, so everybody is working with Postman. So that is the thing. See, if you are understanding the Postman concept, when you go to different client or when you go to different company, for you it will be easy. That's what I am just strongly recommending. Arun, Arun sir, thanks for bringing some other alternative for Postman. So I just learned from you today.
One is insomnia, because
Okay.
normally in our sessions, right, from the PM level, they always
Okay.
use because it is pretty easy even to do the payload as well.
Okay.
And to define the parameters, the header values and all those things.
Okay.
One is insomnia and the second one is curl. You can use the curl one. Even in cloud environment also, you have a cloud shell over there. So you can just simply go and execute the curl.
Okay,
so it's
good.
not required to install Postman over there. It's only for easy usage. Okay, benefits are same, but it's only for easy usage.
Okay.
Once again, as usual, Karkuel, you have done a wonderful section. Myself also learned few things, few tips from you. So then definitely thank you very much for your time. That's what as you said it earlier in the initial section, you have spent almost 2 hours and spending with us another 1 hour. Really, it's it's your passion. To Oracle Apex and to help the community and to create young Apex developers for the society. So our main intention is that knowledge sharing. Okay, so that is a best thing which I I appreciate your effort to make success this section. And I think I hope that all those who are joined here, youngsters, or sorry, the basic Apex developers is also there, like advanced people also there. So definitely this section is it's a good help for them to test this REST services option in Apex. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining, and we have many sections coming up so that we are just seeing what are the areas which Apex developers are weak in that. So we are just finding the weakness and trying to close that gap, so that in the near future everybody should be expert in all the options, so that nobody should say that I don't know this option. So this is what main intention of this professional or Apex sections like this. So we are inviting different parts of different countries. Professionals are coming and taking the section because we want to help the community. That is the main reason behind that. Thank you so much. Take care and happy weekend. And Rafiq, you would like to talk to him something, some doubts, right?
Yeah. See, after completing our last session, I was interacting with Karkavel regarding how to log the the GPS coordinate of the user who is using the Apex application.
Latitude.
Latitude and latitude.
You have asked different queries, right? For example, that Apex application can be opened in the single device. They cannot open the application in the multiple devices.
Yes.
Okay.
Two queries, yes.
See, as per my knowledge, so I would recommend, for example, as you said, we can collect MAC address when they are logging in. Okay, we need to have some table, like for example, user table will be there, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have one field called the current MAC address.
Yeah.
So when if the current MAC address is active, for example, when the user is sign out, that session will be for sometimes only. So when the session is expiring, we need to change the current MAC address to null. If it is null, we have to allow the user to log in again.
Okay.
So in that way we can do. So if possible, let me try to do the sample for you, because I understood the concept. So in this way we can achieve. But if somebody has different way, they can propose. But just
what is my exact requirement is, see, users are using what is it, accessing Apex application, maybe using mobile, maybe using their laptop or desktop. We will register their devices, registered devices in the user table. Okay,
yes.
one user will be having maybe 3 different MAC address, one for mobile, one for laptop, one for desktop. If somebody else, maybe he may be sharing his user credential to somebody else, and he will be using definitely with a different MAC ID.
Correct.
So we should not allow that. Apart from these 3 MAC IDs, we should not allow any other MAC ID.
Yes, correct.
That is what the requirement.
Yes, that is a good idea. See, why I'm telling this good idea is because in our organization, there will be giving the Wi-Fi access. They will not be sharing the username password. Okay, what they will do, based on the MAC address, they will be giving the access.
Okay.
Only that credential will be working for that particular MAC address. If I'm changing the mobile, I have to request them, I have to register my MAC address, then will be that credential will be working.
Correct, correct.
So that is the way they are following. The same way we can implement actually.
Now we'll see that.
Yes.
No problem, Rafiq. We will come to Oman one day, okay?
Sure, sure.
We will sit and develop for you. Okay. Arun, for the, for ending the section, I would like to invite you for a few minutes, a few words about our section today.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Raja sir. This is a great session. Okay, regarding the basics of the RESTful services, I would underline to say that and highlight it that RESTful services is the need of the day at the moment, because each and every places we are starting using REST services, which has been communicating around the globe as well, because you can pull the information from anywhere if you have a proper REST endpoints. So I would suggest all of the young developers to try it and give a chance to learn more on that. Thanks, Raja sir, again for the great session.
Thank you, Arun sir. See, the reason behind why we are taking this session is the whole world is moving to the microservices, Kubernetes, Dockers and all. So people has to understand how the REST and SOAP services is working. Then only they will get interest to learn Kubernetes, Dockers, and so many things are there other than Apex. I'm just telling. So people has to understand the microservices because the whole world is moving to that.
Even RESTful service is also more powerful, because
Yes.
if you see, you have actually each and every person is using that, but they are not knowing about it. Let me say a simple example. I hope everybody will be watching cricket news or scores, right? So this scores has been distributed in different sites over there. It's not that everybody is keying each and everything information. It's just taken from a particular place, and with the help of REST APIs, it has been updated in the different sites. So we are also using it, we are also consuming that, but we need to learn more on that.
See, I have got a chance to work with mobile apps team recently. So all the mobile app navigation, for example, when we are clicking next option, so they are calling web services to pull out the data, post, put, everything is based on the REST services only. So
even Oracle has come up with the Visual Builder service, and that is a mobile hub, like Visual Studio. Because most of the people are confused with the Microsoft Visual Studio and Oracle Visual Studio, because both the names are similar. Okay, so in that you can develop a mobile in maximum 10 minutes time, and that in 10 minutes time you can connect the whole REST API, REST services only in the mobile. So that I was just going through that. I was just doing a R&D on that and how to build up. So it is like amazing functionality. That's what nowadays like creating an app or creating a web application. It's a fraction of seconds. Only the thing is you should know little knowledge about the domain and the backend and front end. That's enough. Okay, so you can build up any application. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to extend our time. Everybody is busy. I think Rafiq also going for a weekend. Okay, Rafiq, I forget to call you for the Kannur section. I think we'll have on Monday. I'll send you, and you can just send me a WhatsApp message so that I can forward all the sections, or I will add you in the Kannur group, so that as soon as if we publish the link, You'll also get access to that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. How are you, Gabriel?
Gabriel joined recently. He was attending the session.
Yeah, he was last class. He was the half an hour for 20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
He was taking the section.
Today it's also there.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Kargwel. Once again, Rafiq, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you.
Sanjay and everybody,
Well-
thanks for all joining today. And we'll have sections coming up. We'll keep you posted in the social media. Thank you so much. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Gabriel.
Yeah.